over here. So again, to fix that problem that we saw earlier, I need to convert it. I need to convert it to an integer. How can I convert it? Let me go back again here and say age, which we saw it's a string, age equal to integer. This is the function that will convert any string into an integer. Okay, so let me hit return. Okay, now let me do again age plus 1. And let's see what's happened. You see, it worked because both of them, one is an integer and age, I converted it to an integer. And where's one very common practice to do that when you ask the user for the age is by doing, for example, when you say input, you ask the user to enter the age. Okay, enter your age. It's very common practice, and you will be using that as well, is to say, okay, whatever value is going to get from the input, I'm going to convert it in the same line. Okay, and then you open the parentheses, and this is another common mistake. People, they forget to close it over here. So everything over here first is going to be executed. This is going to ask the user to enter the age. The user is going to input a number. Okay, and this number is going to be treated as a string as it's highlighted over here. But then later this function is going to convert it to an integer, and this integer is going to be stored or assigned to the variable age. Okay, so be careful to these. These are very common mistakes. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. There's more types that we have, more functions that we have. One of them is type. Type is actually going to give you what is the type of the variable that you have, or the sorry, let's go ahead. So type, if you type the word type, it's a function, built-in function. If I say what is the type of age that I just created, it's going to tell you it's an integer. So it basically tells you what is the type of the variable that you have or the objects that you have. Help also will give you more information about the functions that you want. For example, if I go back again here and say help between parentheses, I need help with the print function that I just learned. Okay, it's going to give you the documentation for it. What is help supposed to do? It's a built-in function to print basically to the screen or to the output that you have. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Okay, let's see this program. Okay, so this program, it says write a program called the program add number .py that accept two numbers, calculate their sum, and print out the answer. So I want you guys to take a look at it, think about it, try to pause the video before you see the answer. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the same mistakes that we also I also mentioned earlier. So I'm going to go back again here. If you want to pause the video, you can pause it right now. Okay, I'm going to solve the problem right now. I'm going to create a file. Okay, and this is going to be asking the user for two numbers. So I'm going to say num1, or you can name it x, y, whatever you want. So this is going to be input. I'm going to ask the user to enter, between quotation marks, don't forget that, enter a number. And one of the good practices that we do, and also we're going to be using it a lot in Zybook, is to say \n. That will allow the user to input in the following line. Okay, so then I'm going to ask for a number. You will see it when we run the program. I'm going to say input. Better to open it and close it so you do not forget, and then open it and close it. And then I'm going to say enter another. Okay, and then I'm going to do \, to make the user input the value in the following line. Okay, you will see that when we run. And then I'm going to say sum. I'm going to say print. Okay, the sum of, for example, here I have, as it says over here, the sum of num1 and num2 is I'm going to make the sum over here. I'm going to say sum equal to num1 plus num2. Okay? And I'm going to say the result is going to be sum. All right? So let me run the program. It's going to tell me I have to save it first. I'm going to save it as it says here, add two numbers. Okay? And look at that. Okay, here is what happened. You see it's giving me the cursor in the second line or the following line when I entered. Why it's doing that? Because that's when I said over here, in the input statement, enter a number and then \n. So the \n is moving the cursor to the following line. Okay, this is much better, and this is the standards that we're going to be using for the Zybooks. Okay, so I'm going to say enter the first number. I'm going to say, for example, 32, and then it's going to ask me for enter another number. I'm going to say 45, and here is going to give me the sum. Wow, the sum is not really correct. It tells me the sum of 32 and 45 is 3245, which is not correct. The mistake I made over here is when I read these two numbers, I did not change them to integers. So I treated them as still strings. So to fix this problem, I'm going to say init, or string basically, and then put all this input inside it, and then the same thing over here. I'm going to say convert this to integer and convert this integer. Now let me run the program again and let's see what's going to happen. Let's say 32 and then I'm going to say 45. It gave me 77, and that's correct. That's the correct answer. Okay, so be careful when you do the read in the integers, convert them. Do not leave them as is because they will be treated as string. Okay. Let's go ahead and see some other special characters. There's one of the ones that we used over here. It was the \n. So this is, we call them escape sequences characters. So these are invisible. You do not see them, but they actually can be printed. So for example, I printed this one inside a string in a print statement. It gave me a new line. Moved it to a new line, the cursor. You can have the T, the \T, which is going to be the tab, basically. We're going to see more of these examples later on in this course. Okay, that's it about this video. And I encourage you guys to practice all the examples that we saw in the video.